organization. But before, I want to just recognize some living members of the Young Lords, because just as we remember our fallen comrades, I think we should also recognize those that are still with us, specifically members of the Central Committee of the Young Lords. I see David Rivera, who is always in Minister of Defense. When you talk about negotiating, we had a festival in front of the church that was called Recordando Borinquen, and we had a big confrontation with the police at the time, and we had security perched at the top of the tower, and we had the police with the shotguns out, looking at the tower, ready to act. And the person that came out and negotiated with the police was David, successfully. The other one is, now they call it Dr. Tony Pines, but then it was just Tony to us, Minister of Education. His responsibility was to develop the modules of education for the cadres. And I think that he did such a good job that we could send one of the cadres, 17-year-old, to talk to a group of medical students at Northwestern University to talk about health and community health. And that was the kind of education and training that the Young Lords were getting as a result of the modules that Brother Tony developed. Of course, you already saw Chacha. But I'm glad to see those members of the Central Committee present here today. This morning, I'm honored and humbled to be one to remember the brother, the leader, the young Lord, Manuel Ramos. 50 years have gone by since we lived that moment on May 5th, when the news came to us that Manuel had been shot and killed the night before by an off-duty policeman, and the young Lord, Ralph Rivera, had been shot through the neck by the same policeman. We also received the news that the young Lord Celda Rivero, Division P, Jose Pancho and Orlando Davila had been arrested in connection with the incident. These brothers later were known as the Cuatro Lords during their trial. That May 5th of 1969, numbness hit the leadership and the cadres of the Young Lords alike. You see, Manuel embodied the spirit of the Young Lords, and he had exercised his leadership skills as one of the leaders of the Young Lords, and all of them, all the Young Lords that he had contact with, liked them a lot. So that May 5th, Manuel was not only taken from his family and the Young Lords, but with his killing, the options of the existence of the Young Lords suddenly narrowed. And overnight, the Young Lords matured to no end. Everyone in the Young Lords struggled with the sadness, then the anger, and lastly, what we had to do in order to honor his memory. Few people know of the struggles that Chairman Chacha went through with the membership when trying to politicize the Young Lords. The tendencies of the street group created barriers that would not allow members to be able to fight with a purpose, identify the enemies of poor people, and become a political organization. But Manuel's death broke that veil, and from that point on, all of the membership of the Young Lords made the decision to move forward as a community-based militant organization. An organization that would fight for their families and their homes in Lincoln Park. Many of you are familiar with what followed soon after: the violent confrontations with Urban Renewal's Lincoln Park Conservation Council, the takeover of Slumlord McCormick Theological Seminary, and the occupation of the Army Teshava Methodist Church, ministered by Reverend Bruce Johnson. I can safely say that the community is indebted to Manuel Ramos for the existence and for the activist path which the Young Lords are known today. Manuel's death turned the organization into a powerful political force, which in turn impacted and influenced an entire generation of young Latino activists, not only in Chicago, but around the nation. Physically, Manuel Ramos did not take part in demonstrations, the takeovers, and the survival programs. However, spiritually, Manuel was our guide, and throughout our history as an organization, Manuel was ever present and was never forgotten. His legacy lives, and this gathering here this morning is a witness to that. Since Manuel's party, many other young lords have followed the trail of the comet that he was. And today we also remember them and honor them as well. Again, I want to thank you for responding to the call to gather here this morning. Thank you very much for helping us keep the memory of young Lord Manuel Ramos alive. Thank you very much. All power to the people.
Thank you, Omar. I forgot to mention that Omar is the Minister of Education, Information of the Young Lords, so wanted to acknowledge the role and leadership you have. Thank you. This time I'd like to invite David forward, and he is going to offer some words and reflection about Jose Pancho Vin's life. His daughter, Catherine, was planning to come, but she had surgery on Thursday, so I asked for you to hold his daughter in your prayers as she continues to heal, and I'll invite David forward for a word about his life. Thank you. And David is the National Field Marshal for the Young Lords.
Very today because Kathy was supposed to speak. But talk about Pancho. Pancho was a member of the Young Lords for a long time. Pancho was a little different from the rest of the Young Lords. Pancho was political before we became political. He was always fighting for his rights. That fatal day that we got the news that Pancho had died. Pancho's only crime was to have dark skin. Where he was beaten to death with baseball bats for walking in the wrong neighborhood, in a white neighborhood. And that was Pancho. Pancho's death gave us strength, though. Pancho left us a wife, Angie, who became one of our greatest leaders in our women's movement. Pancho left his children, who always backed their mother. The mother, his wife, what can I say about Angie? Angie was a very special woman, just like her husband. I'm sorry I have no more words to say. I'm a little emotional at this time. And take this time also to thank my grandchildren for being here with me, and all the other young lords. God bless you.
Contacted me about this event back in January, February, so we've been planning this for a while. And about a week ago, I got a phone call saying that Fred Hampton Jr. Heard about this event and was invited to come. Chacha, you connected him here. And so it's my honor and privilege to also introduce and include Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. He is the son of a survivor of the December 4th, 1969 murder of Fred Hampton, and also his mother, Akua and Jerry. So I just met with him yesterday for the first time, and he shared that on December 4th, his mother, Akua, was 8 months pregnant and with Fred Jr., and it was 25 days later, on December 8th, that he was born after his father's death. So I welcome Chairman Fred Hampton forward. Thank you. so I just met with him yesterday afternoon. He shared that he was planning to come, and I know that there's some people here also, I can find you, who are connected to him. And I fear that he may have texted me on my phone, and so I don't have my phone here with me. And so if he comes, I'll give him some words here at the end. But simply wanted to acknowledge Fred Hampton's work. He too was a martyr in the midst of this, and he too was united in the struggle for justice and for racial equity. At this time, I'll invite Bishop Sally Dick forward. She's the United Methodist Bishop for the Northern Illinois Conference. Sally Dick, will you welcome her?
Thank you. I'm very honored and humbled to be a part of this very important recognition of these persons who really are people who have given their lives for the cause of justice. And they are martyrs who have believed so much in life and justice that they have given the sacrifice of their life. I want to just say a couple of things about the Johnsons. At our annual gathering as a church in June, we recognized them there too so that people would know their story. And for many who knew them personally, but for others who, obviously wouldn't have known them, it's important to keep telling the story. As I was told when Reverend James Reed preached the sermon for the Johnsons' funeral, he said that they were followers of Christ, and they had taken care of their death and their baptisms, and were able then to live free and responsibly and sacrificially. And in Bonhoeffer's words, used at the memorial service, arriving at the highest of feasts, freedom eternal, so as we die, we see God at last, face to face. So even in the violence, even in those moments, we believe that they are all made free. Bruce and Eugenia were committed to the creed that was ultimately posted on the door of the Armitage Avenue Church. And I think especially in the tradition of this church, as well as that church, and the work that was going on in the North Side, I want to read a few words from that creed that reminds us of their connection of faith and justice and working for freedom and what a church is meant to be. It said, "We have a dream. This church, led by the community, confronting the powers, keeping rulers responsible, assisting people to claim their destiny, and celebrating in worship. Our dream of a people's church. The good news of Jesus Christ is that each person is of worth. Christ's resurrection means there is no power or establishment which can control one who claims dignity. This is your faith and your church. Claim them both and join them in this dream." Let us pray. Oh God, we thank you that you have called and equipped your servants who come from many different streams of life and commitment to be able to work for justice for all people. And we thank you that you have brought to mind once again through this service, but throughout this year, the sacrifice that they have made. And indeed, as we look around our communities, our nation, and our world, we are reminded that the struggle must be an ongoing habit and a practice. The struggle must be something that we continue to proclaim and strengthen each other for the work. We thank you, O Lord, that you continue to call and equip people today to work for justice. Bless each family who is represented in these lives of the martyrs. Bless them and continue to give them strength and healing. And we pray that as we have remembered them, we too may be strengthened for the cause against the powers and principalities that work to take away the memory and the knowledge and the affirmation that we are all children of God. Amen.
Thank you, Bishop. At this time, I'm going to invite some of our greeters to pass around the offering plate. We're reminded that this is a worship service, and so we're going to pass the plate to receive people's gifts, tithes, and offering. And the truth is that we seek to be a church, a community that continues to live in solidarity and in witness to God's liberating and inclusive love and joy. And your gifts go to help make that possible. We have a basement to renovate, friends. That's our reality. And keeping this church here means a presence still and a voice for the community. So on behalf of the church, I want to thank you for your generous spirit of your gifts and your tithes this morning. And at this time, I'll invite the Bomba Combaya group up, and they're going to play some music for us once more. Thank you.
I was asked to speak a little bit. Want to give thanks to the church for being inclusive of this music, which is often stigmatized because of its history, but also because its association with blackness. And so we thank you. There are churches in Chicago like San Lucas Church that has been very welcoming to us, and we give you thanks for allowing us to be here.
Paloma blanca, paloma vuela,
to receive this morning's offering.
Praise God from whom all blessings
blessings flow. Praise God, all creatures here below. Alleluia, alleluia. Praise God, the source of all our gifts. Praise Jesus Christ, whose power lives. Praise the Spirit, Holy Spirit. Alleluia, alleluia, hallelujah.
Eternal and good God, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who himself laid down his life to be witnesses in solidarity of justice and liberation. Lord, in honor of what you have entrusted to our care, we offer these gifts back to you. And Lord, we pray your blessing to be upon these gifts and every giver gathered here. Continue to use this church. Continue to use these gifts and our lives, this community, to be visible signs of your love, your presence, and your liberation. Through Jesus Christ we pray. Amen. Amen. You may be seated. And just as a word of instruction following this worship service, the march is planned to step off at 12 o'clock. And we're going to be traveling, west here on Diversey down to Sheffield. You'll turn left on Sheffield. We'll go down to Lincoln and then up to Halstead and then over to Armitage. If you haven't caught all of that, just follow the leaders, follow the path along the way. If you have any mobility limitations or issues, there's a van that's going to be present over here to drive some folks who may not be able to walk the march. The march is 1.3 miles. It's going to take about a half hour to march over, and then the young lords will also do a presentation there as well. Know that all are welcome to be part of that march, and if you're not, I ask for you to hold them in prayer as they are marching, and you stand in solidarity with them, at least in spirit, if not in body. They've also have some snacks, some refreshments in the back, so you're welcome to help yourself to be in conversation and community with one another. And again, the march steps off at noon. We wanted to just capture who's here today, so there's white books kind of located all around the sanctuary. If folks could mark their presence so we know who's gathered here for worship, that would be great. We would love for this to be your church. I'd love to be your pastor. So if you'd like more information about Holy Covenant, you're welcome to write down your contact information. I'm happy to be in touch with you next week. And we'll return next week to kind of our regular worship schedule. We're talking about John Wesley, and this is kind of connected, and our legacy and call as Methodists. I also wanted to invite you, if you're interested in learning more about the ongoing work of justice, particularly as it relates to the young lords. They also have a sign-up sheet, so you're welcome to write down your contact information with them, and they can be in touch with you about their upcoming events. If they have clipboards back here. And so simply again wanted to thank every single one of you who have been here, who have been part of this historic commemoration and also a renewed sense of justice and of presence in the world. And so in a spirit of peace and joy, let us rise to our feet for our closing song.
Sing a song full of the faith and the darkness and hearts. Sing a song full of the hope and the present has brought us. Praising the rising sun of a new day come. Let us march on till stormy the road we trod, clear the testing rod, that in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady Bless our feet, straight from the places of God where we met you. Bless our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget you. Shall we leave your hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land.
Sisters and brothers, siblings in Christ, hear the good news. That the work of the saints who have come before us, that have made a way for us to be together, have not labored in vain. And neither do you. Your work matters in your life, in your community, and in the world around you, and we give thanks for the saints whom we marched with who came before us, the ones present here now, and the ones yet to come. And so please go in peace in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the one Mother of us all. Amen.
Amen.
I just want to quickly acknowledge two aldermen that are here with us today. Alderwoman Rosana Rodriguez from the 33rd Ward and Alderman Andre Vasquez from the 40th Ward. Thank you.
After we march, busy day.
Yeah, I think I'm marching. Yeah, I got this. It's clearing up.
Generation died. Well, they preserved the history pretty good. We've all done
I
pretty
just
good.
saw
with
that. We've been scanning all the ones in the family.